There's this person by the name of Xi Ziping, okay? So he created this thing called the Ziping analytical method. So he's one of the most famous person to combine and compile all the Bazi reading together to uniform one, so that everybody can use. And the commoners are actually using it even now itself. Since 1,300 years ago, even now, at present time 2022, a lot of people are learning 子平八字, that means the 子平 analytical method, to read a person's life, and basing on their month, basing on their year and our stamp, and understanding the fate and life of a person. So if you see, there's four pillars, there's a stem, there's these branches. Total, there are eight of them, 8 different symbols. So if we use 8 times 8, they use a combination of day and month and year and the hour stamp itself to see the relationship, because every one of them got elements. As we know that when you have elements, there are certain clashes, certain producers, certain harmony. So they use this information to see the person's life. Okay, so there are possible of 64 different combinations. So in that era, last time about 1,300 years ago, the formula is actually very good, because it can tell within the next 10 years, this person is going to happen, what's going to happen. The life is going to be going up or going down, the wealth itself, the health itself, all this information will be able to, based on different elements of the year, different stems, okay, different branches, and combine to see the possible trend, uptrend or downtrend, whether this person is lucky or not lucky. But usually it's based on the 10-year cycle. Okay, so it's very general. That means, for example, during birth, all the way until 10 years old, then 11 all the way to 20 years old, so on and so forth. So it's based on every 10 years of cycle to tell a person's luck. Okay. So at this point of time, there's a lot of people who learns Bazi reading are very actively learning all this. Okay. So of course, we want to compare Qimen Dun Jia. So we just look at a bit of history itself. Last time the Qimen Dun Jia is actually passed down to Huangdi. You know, it's a legend. We don't know how true it is, but it's a legend from this fairy itself. She actually give this particular thing to this Qimen Dun Jia to this Huangdi, who is the person. So who is the emperor, and he used this Qimen Dun Jia to defeat the enemy. And of course, in the history itself, last time it's not called Qimen Dun Jia. Last time, in the very beginning, it's called Yingfu. Okay, during this era, the Zhou era. And then after that, it's also, as we move along, it become Liu Jia. It's also named as Liu Jia, as a Han Wei era. And also Dun Jia during the time of Sui Tang and Song Dynasty. And then after that, the final version, it becomes Qimen Dun Jia in the Mingqing era itself. So these are a bit of history whereby it's very, very far away. If you want to do some research about it, there are some bits and pieces of information, you know, in the books, in the internet, but it's very loosely compiled. So I will share this slide with you tomorrow, and then from there, if you're interested, you can always do some history lesson if you're interested. Okay. So as we know, this Qimen Dun Jia is not publicly used in the common world. So why is that so? I think what I mentioned before is that 5,000 years ago, the emperor do not want this information or this tool to be used by the enemy. So anybody who possess it will be killed, will be beheaded. And commoners cannot own it, cannot possess it, and cannot use it. So it's a very strictly exclusive tool for the emperor itself during the time. So in 1980 and to 1990, what happened is that this Qimen Dun Jia divination is somehow being opened up in China. And there will be a lot of people actually from China and Taiwan flocking to China to learn this Qimen Dun Jia divination. I'm not talking about the destiny reading. I'm talking about just the Qimen divination, which you have learned. Okay, and what happened is this: after learning, people will start innovating and change and add this and to make things more interesting. So if you compare Qimen Dun Jia and Ziping Bazi, there's a huge difference in terms of history. But of course, this 5,000 years history, to some people is debatable. They say that it could be 3,000 years. So whichever, I mean, we are not able to verify because there's a very lack of information too far away. But even if it's not 3,000, it can be about if it's not 5,000, it can be 3,000. So in terms of number of years, it's still longer than Ziping Bazi. So, and the combination is when we look at Ziping Bazi, there's a total of 64 different combinations because used based on 8 and 8. But if we use Qimen Dun Jia, we use the stars, we use the doors, we use the gods, we use all the different stems and branches, and plus the palace, etc., etc. So there are possible few thousand ways of combining the information of a person. Okay, so for information, this the Ziping Bazi, they use a 10-year cycle. Qimen Dun Jia do not use a 10-year cycle. They look at it every single year or every single month if we want to. Sometimes if we really want to see, we can even based on see every single day. But it's a little bit complicated and it may not be so accurate at all. So usually we look at every year or every month to see a person's destiny. There are people who are with my friend, every 3 months come to me and approach me and ask me, so what's my luck for the next 3 months? So I mean, since they are my friend, I will just share with them what's going to happen. Apparently, most of the information that I relay to them, they come back to me saying that it's pretty accurate in that aspect. But anyhow, if it depends on individual, because if you're going to read it every month, it's going to be very tiring. And sometimes we just do not want to know certain things that is happening, unless the major things are, especially in life, the major things will be likely to happen. Okay, anyhow. So Qimen Dun Jia can also analyze and understand the problem of the person, and we can provide a solution. But the Ziping Bazi and most of the tools out there that reads this Bazi itself, the destiny reading, they are only able to read and provide the information, but they are not able to provide a solution. So people who ask a fortune teller, okay, saying that, okay, I will be, what will happen to me in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? So is it good or bad? I mean, good is good, it's good to be good, but what happens if it's bad? So the fortune teller or the consultant will say, okay, this is your life, cannot be changed. That's how they approach the life in terms of the reading itself. But Qimen Dun Jia can change. That means once we read the thing, we get the information already, we will find the problem, we will find a solution for it, and we will give a suggestion on how to change the situation for the better. There are ways to do it. Okay, so that's the distinct differences between the Qimen Dun Jia destiny reading and the rest of the Bazi reading in the world itself. Okay, so I want to gather certain facts to you first before we even start the lesson. Okay, that means you are one of the very few people in the world in 2022 that's learning Qimen Destiny Reading. Okay, and you are also the very few that will be taught and able to change other people's destiny, including yourself. Okay, if you want to change your destiny, if you think that's no good, there's ability to change, but be careful. There's always a price to pay. Okay, So, and you are also the very few person in the world that's able to analyze up to 99% accuracy. You will not find this anywhere in the world, okay? How do I claim 99% accuracy? I will share with you in the next few lessons where I mentioned that before. Because the accuracy is so high that you're able to see the details so sharp that somehow rather you can be scared, okay? Can be scary. Good things, all right, but if it's bad thing, then we have an issue. You see, the thing is, how do we change the thing? There's a possibility, or maybe to minimize the problems, okay? So, very importantly, before we start, you hold a very important key to the future for yourself and for the people around you, okay? So I will urge you to be very careful to use this tool and use this key very correctly. Comparing Qimen Dun Jia divination and Qimen Destiny Reading, I tell you, Destiny Reading is far more powerful than the divination. But if you combine Destiny Reading and this divination, it is going to be very, very super powerful. Okay. Okay.